ask Coach Smart for some opening comments, and then we'll go to your questions. Coach?
Yeah, I'll open with a quick comment about Richard LeCount and his situation. Obviously, thoughts and prayers go out to his family and Richard. I was updated by Ron. He was moved from an ICU room to a regular room, which was a good step, good news. Thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. He's got wonderful parents, and we've been in communication with those guys, and they've been up here, being able to be with him during this time. So I know our team sent a bunch of messages, video messages, and things like that to him yesterday, and we're all hopeful and expecting a full recovery. So with that, I'll move on to Florida. Dan's done a great job there with their team, preparing those guys. They are high-powered. They've got a lot of really good skilled players. An experienced quarterback who can throw and catch the ball really well, and got a really good unit, good team. I thought the defense played really well against Missouri. Todd's got them playing really hard. It was the first time they had a lot of their core guys back up front, and they've got some big guys up front. So got a really good team, got really good special teams. So as always, it should be a great game.
All right, we'll go to questions. Let's take the first two questions. Let's start with Anthony Dasher, and then we'll go to Chip Towers.
Hey, Coach. I guess I'll be the bad guy right off the bat here, and I'm not questioning, but I'm just asking because we hear it all the time. Can you explain to fans what attributes that Stetson has that makes him the better option to start than Dwan and JT? And in regards to JT, even though he is clear, is there anything at all physically that's holding him back right now?
The only physical limitations are still, would be coming off the knee, which he hasn't shown a lot of ailments coming off the knee. I mean, he's been out of the brace. He's been able to throw the ball. He's done a good job. He actually comes down and throws on the scout team and competes and does a really nice job down there with us. Again, the decisions we make as coaches are decisions we have to make. They're tough decisions, no different than they are at who plays corner and who plays tackle. And there's a lot of really good competitions out there going on. And ultimately, we feel like Stetson gives us the best chance to win right now. And, Dwan gets a lot of work, a lot of reps, and competes really hard at that. It continues to improve and shows us that he's the better guy, that he would be the guy up. Same thing with JT. JT probably doesn't get as many opportunities as Stetson does and Dwan does because he works down there with us some on the scout team. But, at the end of the day, guys, the decision has to be made by us. It gives us the best chance to win, and we do that based on the total body of work, and those are decisions that have to be made.
Coach, at the risk of taking up the rest of the time on the conference call, could you update us on the injuries, particularly on the defensive side? I mean, just put that in context. Getting ready to play a high-powered offensive team and being without a lot of your main dudes, if you will. Yeah,
Mr. Laundry List. You'd probably be better off asking me specifically about guys because I don't really know. Some guy, we haven't really had a chance to practice, so I'll find more out throughout the week, throughout the day. We think Quay's going to be fine. We think he's going to be able to play. Julian's probably out. Jordan, we're going to find out more on. We're hopeful he's able to play. Lewis, I think, is going to be fine. He had an ankle sprain. And obviously Richard's probably out. Richard's not going to be able to play, so we don't know when we're going to get Richard back. But past that, I don't know who you'd be asking about.
I guess if you could expound on Jordan Davis a little bit, obviously he's so important, to what you guys do up front. And then in the back end, you're going to be without Richard, and Lewis had an ankle injury. You're about to have an unbelievable tight end you have to cover. So just what the safety position looks like in particular.
Yeah, well, Chris has played a lot for us. Richard came out of the one game for targeting, and then he came in and played for Lewis the other day. So we feel like Chris has gotten a lot of experience. Chris works really hard in practice, and he's ready to play. Tyreek Stevenson's worked back there. Breeny's worked back there. We've had Major Burns working back there. So that's what it looks like at safety. And then, like I said, on Jordan, we'll find out more as the week goes on.
Let's go to Dean Legge and then Mike Griffith.
Kirby, I don't think anyone's done this yet, but how are y'all going to stop Pitts? How do you even match up with him?
Well, he's really a great player. Anytime you play a great player, you got to have a good game plan for. And like you said, I don't think anybody's stopping him. It's limiting explosives, matching up, winning some 50-50 balls. That's what he's best at. It's impossible. If people think you can just double cover him, just double cover him. That's not, you can't do that. They put him in places where you can't double him. And you got to do other things to other people. They got other good players besides just him. And the quarterback knows where to throw the ball to give him a shot. And there's not an easy answer for that. It's not like a textbook answer of this is how you stop him. You're not going to do that. What you do is contain him and hope that you don't get hit on explosives and that the team understands where he is.
Mike Griffith?
Some specifics on injuries. I'll follow up here. Offensively, do you expect George Pickens and Kenny McIntosh and Matt Landers to play? Is Ben Cleveland okay? And I'll follow up with a defense after that.
Ben should be fine. George and Kenny are going to continue to work and do what they did last week. We're hopeful they're able to play. They're certainly further out from their injuries, and we're hopeful they'll be able to, but can't tell you any more than that right now because I don't know a lot more. I mean, they're rehabbing every day. Ron updates us every day, and we're hopeful they're able to play. Who's the other one? Yeah, Matt. Matt should be able to go.
And then following up on defense, Tyreek Stevenson came out late, and also there's a report that Jordan Davis has an elbow and is out for the next couple of weeks. Is that true?
Jordan's going to be day to day. Jordan has a chance to be able to play. We're hopefully he's able to play. It is his elbow that's injured, but we're hopeful to be able to get him in a brace. Don't know if he'll be able to play or not. Like I said, we haven't practiced. Tyreek's fine.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Jake Rowe and then Mark Weiser.
Kirby, with the 5 turnovers over the last couple games and the 2 fumbles that weren't lost, do you think you're getting the level of quarterback play you need right now to get where you want to get, and where can you improve?
Well, we can improve in a lot of ways. We can improve by protecting the ball, sliding once you make a good decision to run and you get near contact, you can get down. Good decisions with the ball in terms of if you're going to throw it out of bounds, throw it out of bounds. If you're going to hit the check down, hit the check down. But there's a lot of places we can improve. We can improve with our route running, our route communication, our ability to finish blocks on the perimeter when we get the ball on the perimeter. There's tons of places we can improve.
Kirby, just finishing up on the injuries. I just want to make sure I heard you. Rochester, he has a knee and he's probably out. Is that correct?
Correct. He is out.
He's out. Okay. And I wanted to ask you, how have you guys had to change up the schedule this week with Tuesday off for the election? Can there be any team activity at all for players tomorrow in terms of, or can they come in on their own and watch film, or what are the limitations?
Yeah, they can do their voluntary activities. And then we've also got a speaker that we've got scheduled for them and some in-house things. We were able to do a little bit of stuff yesterday in terms of light walkthrough. We didn't get back from Kentucky till pretty late in the afternoon, and we're able to do some things yesterday, just really light, not a real full-fledged practice. So we'll practice today and practice Wednesday, and Tuesday we'll have a speaker.
And let's go to Seth Emerson and then Brandon Sudge.
Kirby, what's the overall effect of these defensive injuries? You guys have deep for a while, and that's the strength. Affect the depth as you have more guys limited or out?
Well, it certainly affects you. I mean, you don't have as many guys available, so it limits your availability and your ability to play more players in terms of that. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of guys who practice, who don't get to play, who now will get an opportunity to play. And those guys work really hard for those opportunities. And I look forward to seeing them play, to be honest with you. That's what they came to Georgia to do, to play in some of these big games. And we'll have some guys that have to step up, play more snaps, put a greater burden on some of the guys that are already playing, probably play more snaps in regards to that. But, I mean, everybody in the country is going through that. It's something that you go through when you play this kind of schedule. You're going to have injuries. We've been very fortunate so far in terms of COVID, and we hope that continues because that could limit us even more. And these guys are competitors, and I don't know how it's going to affect things because a lot of it depends on what we're having to defend. With Florida, they've got a very versatile attack. They can be many forms of offense in terms of vertical passing game, screen passing game, Kadarius Toney, run game. They got good backs, thick, heavy backs that run the ball, and a big offensive line to do it with.
Hey, Kirby, a couple of quick questions here. In terms of Richard, how like devastating of a moment is that to hear the news that a starter and a player that you've had on your roster for all these years is in a motorcycle accident. And then also in terms of the election, do you feel like it's a good idea? Like, are you in favor of the NCAA's ruling to have practice and team activities off tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll open with the Richard piece. I mean, it doesn't matter, what kind of player he is. It's one of our players, one of our family members, and when you get news like that, it's crushing. It's disheartening. It just makes everything flash before you. All the experiences I've had with him, and it was a scary moment because it was a very serious crash, and he's very fortunate to have his helmet on and to be where he is now. I mean, he's very fortunate, according to Ron and the doctors, considering what most people have when they have one of those kind of motorcycle accidents. So certainly it was scary for our team, for everybody in our family, everybody in the organization. It's really scary for him and his family. So it's make you hug your kids a little more at night for sure. In terms of the NCAAs, the decision was made a long time ago, and I think they didn't realize how proactive these athletic departments would be in terms of, number one, registering student athletes to vote and getting them to vote. We think we have over 90% of our guys have already voted. So our guys have done a really good job. The few that haven't would be because they were registered already back home, or we had some guys who weren't here when we went and registered, and they may not have gotten registered yet. But, we got over 130 players, and I think we got less than 9 who haven't voted. So the intent was to give them the ability to go do that. Well, it's unique now that it was such a point of emphasis for our athletic department, and our athletic administration did a great job of selling to get 100% of our student athletes to vote, that we've almost done that. So that tomorrow will be more of an opportunity for them to work on other things, academics, to clear their mind, to for whatever they want to do, to be honest with you. But we're going to have a speaker for it. And it's not whether I'm for it or against it. That's not what's important. What's important is, did our kids have an opportunity to vote? And that's what most of them have done.
All right, let's go to Augusta with the red and black, and then we'll go to Charles Odom.
Hey, Kirby. First, I wanted to ask, have you seen or heard anything about the fight that was right before halftime at Missouri, Florida? And I wanted to know, do you use moments like that as like cautionary tales for your team? And how do you keep people calm and remind them, like, you don't want to go out there and throw a punch and get ejected or anything like that? Just kind of how do you keep calm and remind them that these are serious things that you can't do? And did you know about the other incident?
Yeah, I was aware of it. I think I was coming back from the hospital with Richard when somebody texted me or somebody sent a video of it. To be honest with you, I haven't seen much of it since then, because it's been a whirlwind since our game with Richard, and the sped up pace of this week. Hadn't had time to really get enamored with it or think about it. It's not really pressing for us. Obviously, it's a teaching moment for all of us, but I mean, it concerns me every time a player gets tackled on the sideline or gets close to the sideline of an altercation between two teams that are heated rivalries breaking out. But they all know, Dan knows, and Eli knows that you can't have that. They understand that. They know, and you've got people within your staff that try to prevent those things from happening, and we don't want them in the SEC, and you got to go do a good job. But it could happen to any program in the country, and you don't want that.
When the Kentucky game was pushed back a week, and you knew you had this NCAA, voting off day coming up, did you use any of that unscheduled off week to look ahead to Florida?
Well, we looked at everybody during the off week that we play after Kentucky. So for us, our traditional off week is we have 3 days. We take the final opponents, we watch them. We say, all right, well, who does something that we don't see? If they do something our offense does, we see it every day. So what's the point in doing it? If we see something that we don't see, then we got to work on it. So along with Florida, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Missouri, Vanderbilt, all those teams, we went through them, and we did some work on those teams. And then towards the end of the off week, we worked on Kentucky.
All right, let's go to Zach Klein, and then Mark Schleybaugh.
Hey, Kirby, you always talk about the men on your squad being an extension of your family and their safety is the utmost importance to you. Moving forward, we think about banning motorcycles or moped scooters for guys on your roster?
No, I mean, I hadn't really thought about it. I think making good decisions and choices is important. I've always said sometimes when you try to ban things, you do more harm than good. A lot of guys use them around campus for mopeds and scooters, and Georgia has a history of mopeds and scooters have been an issue, and several of our players have them. And it's been a concern ever since I've gotten here. It was that way under Coach Rick. But, this was different because it was a dirt bike or a motorcycle, whatever it classifies as, which probably brings a little more danger along with it. But not a lot of our guys have those.
Thank you.
Mark Schleybaugh, do you have a question?
Kirby, what have you seen out of Zamir the last couple of weeks that's made him more effective?
Well, opportunities would be the first thing. I mean, I felt like he's always really been effective to me in terms of toughness. He's getting more comfortable in our run game. We're probably doing a better job putting a hat on a hat. When you have the run game you get better at it as you do it. Now, teams get better at defending you as you do it as well. So you have to decorate it different ways. But I think we've gotten better in the run game because we're running similar runs and we're carrying them over from week to week. But he's certainly, I thought last week was one of his better. I mean, there were times that he had contact in the backfield that he turned it into a 5-yard run. He turned 3-yard runs into 6-yard runs. He ran behind his pad. He kept his balance. Thought he did a really good job.
Let's go to Jeff Schultz and Mark Bradley if you have questions.
Kirby, how aligned are you, you and Todd Monken aligned in terms of, quarterback pecking order, and him being the offensive coordinator, how much autonomy does he have to say, look, I think this guy's better than this guy and this guy should start?
I would say he has total autonomy when it comes to offensive decisions in terms of selecting what we carry into a game, play calling. That's what you hire people to do a job. I mean, you turn it over to them and say, hey, what's the best job we can? Now, he has a tremendous staff with great experience. And, Matt Luke is a guy that's got great experience. Cortez, Dell, Hartley, all those guys are a concerted effort in terms of making game plans and making decisions about personnel and plays. And, he's really highly organized, which is what I really like in terms of each coach having a responsibility in presenting to him their thoughts for that game plan of the week. He does a really good job of that. In terms of quarterback play, we're aligned perfectly. We talk about it each week. We talk about it before each game. We talk about it after each practice, and talk about where guys are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and how we think their strengths can benefit our game plan. And we go through that. We go through that after each game. So we have a lot of communication about it.
Thanks for calling on me. I have nothing. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Steve Hummer and then Blaine.
Yes. Kirby, I just wanted to ask you about the challenges that Trask are going to present to your defense.
Well, experience, number one. There's not, you have some quarterbacks in our league who experience and have seen everything, and you see the maturation of quarterbacks as they play against teams, and they've seen that look, and they've seen, that two trap, that quarters, that quarter halves, that man, that extra overload blitz. They've seen it, and so they know how to attack it. The maturation he's had is he's played in our league now, and once you get that valuable experience, it's hard to trick them. You don't trick guys. They've seen it before. You have to ultimately be able to defend their people with your people. You're not going to win a scheme battle of, we got a guy free. You're not going to scheme somebody free. They got to win one-on-one, and you got to cover Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Trask knows that, and he does a good job of finding him and finding the other guys he's got as weapons. So he's a really, really good football player because he has savvy and awareness.
Hi, Coach. You talked about Zamir's development being part of getting more opportunities. How do you balance as a coach, whether it be position coach or head coach, getting all your talented players touches versus riding the hot hand? Is that just more of a gut feeling type thing during a game?
Well, it's a conditioning element. It's a lot of things that go into it. How do guys practice? How do they prepare? How do they protect the quarterback? How reliable are they with ball security? So, I thought that Zamir and I thought Dale did a great job subbing those guys last week because Zamir was running the ball really well. He was running the ball physical, and I'm comfortable with where we are and how we're playing our backs because to get through our league, as you see with Kenny, you got to be able to have multiple backs, and you certainly draw on that experience when certain guys go down.
We've got time for one more question. Anybody has not asked a question, want to jump in on the last one?
Kirby, have you had any conversations with Dwan Mathis since yesterday's practice?
Since I talked to him, before practice, I talked to him for a while, and we kind of visit each week with the quarterbacks to keep them updated on where things are.
Where's his head right now?
He wants to play. He's a competitor. He wants an opportunity to get in and compete. And we gave he and JT a lot of reps during the off week, and we'll continue to give as many guys as we can get ready reps to grow those guys and get them ready to play.
Thanks, Coach Smart. Thanks, everybody.